Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be August overview, and if you're watching this in July, make sure you check back in August, and if you're watching this in August, check back in later in the month because you never know how things are going to play out. For example, last month when I did the collective reading, I just didn't think twice about it. I just gave the reading exactly how I saw it and exactly how I was receiving messages, and it didn't resonate with me personally at the time. But it turns out later in the month, I indeed was part of the collective that I was giving the message to. We specifically talked about the tower moment. Um, Maybe I'll make a separate video about the tower moment, about like what it really is a tower moment and how to take full advantage of the tower moment. So if you guys want to see a video about that separately and not just in a collective reading, so like not just mentioned in passing, let me know, leave it in the comment. And I hope you guys can hear me, by the way. I have the AC going and I'm using a microphone, but it is so humid and I can't. And you're about to see me do this a lot throughout the video, so excuse me. I hope that doesn't bother you. Um, it's just really humid. It's really messing up my hair. Anyways, so regarding the tower moment last month, and the tower moment might have happened for you in different ways, right? Maybe you were like, I really say that the tower moment is not always like a bad thing. Sometimes it is a necessary step before your other goals. Sometimes the tower moment is the most critical aspect of your process of getting to what you want. So sometimes the tower movement is initiated by your own choice or your own decisions because you really take on the initiation to create the abrupt change in your life, or sometimes it is something that is out of your control, but regardless you might realize later on it was part of things working out for you at the end. So that being said, I was talking about the tower movement in July and how we really have to use that to, or rather, we're supposed to tune into ourselves and listen to our emotions and answer to whatever that we were partially in denial about, because you'd be surprised at how much people really put themselves in denial, especially pertaining to their true emotions and feelings, because having to face your feelings means different things, including like having to face consequences and like making decisions, and like that is its own process. But for people that are specifically wanting certain things to happen for them, you have to make a decision, and tapping into yourself first is quite a critical part in making that decision. So, and by answering to that emotion, if you experienced a tower moment that you did not really see or you did not want, that you were trying to prevent, I just want to let you know that's all part of what had to happen. So keep trusting the process, which brings me to what I want to share with you guys about August. I really feel like August is the month where, like, I'm seeing clarity, some sort of closure. So clarity, closure, in a way, it's going to help you shift your focus back to yourself. So I'm also hearing something about answered prayers. So in a way, if you experience turbulences, like I'm seeing, I'm being given this specific vision right now. So throughout June and July, if you went through like some shaky period, I feel like August is this time period where you have this rush of clarity, or this rush of inspiration where you feel like you got it, as far as you knowing what the next steps are, you reestablishing the values with yourself, and like reassessing what it means to create a life that is meaningful for you. So I'm seeing the month of August, to be like this month of you enjoying some recreational things, whether it's leisure, like you tapping into your passions and inspirations, or it could be, again, it could just you get diving into your pursuits of passions and goals. But regardless, this is a month of some form of movement, so in the materialized way. So it's not just a feeling. I'm seeing some sort of like a tangible thing in August for you that shows you that hey, like this is a thing now, like you got your answer, or at least it's a step. It might not be the final thing, but there's a tangible thing that is coming in your life that's showing you like your prayer was answered. So you get to kind of relax a little bit, especially if you've been having like rough the past couple of months. So and at the end of the video, guys, by the way, I'm going to go through like the all 12 zodiac signs and maybe give you guys a more specific, like, it's not a zodiac reading, and it's not astrology reading, but like kind of giving you like the energy reading for each sign. So look out for that. So stay tuned until the end of the video. But either way, August feels like there's some sort of closure, clarity, and I don't really want to say conclusion because I actually feel like it's a new beginning. I think that from the way it seems to me is that something wrapped up in July. So there should have been some sort of like conclusion in July, if anything. Oh, I just also got this message. Okay, so with the Aquarius full moon happening, I don't remember exactly the date. I think it's the 5th of August. Don't count me on that. I think it's something around that date. So that's full moon happening in Aquarius. And in the first week of August, there's like something concluding here. So as far as conclusions is whatever you experienced in the summer months, or like especially July, because I'm seeing, so on the collective level, something like happened that really like swept you off the feet, not in a good way. And like you have to take care of something, you have to take action. Again, this is a tower moment we're talking about, and that is why I kind of recapped the message that was delivered in the last month, because it is relevant about like how we're moving forward into this month of August. So some tower moment happened, some abrupt change you did not necessarily plan, and I feel like the aspect, the component that makes it the tower moment, I feel like, is that either way this was going to happen. So it was either this, like, I don't think this was something that you planned. I think that it just happened, so if you experience that, then you're definitely in the right place. Like, you're the collective that I'm talking to, the right collective I'm talking to. Okay. And so going into August, there's some form of tangible thing that I already told you about, and it's although you had like a rough months, depending on who you are on the individual, I feel like you either like something, the specific collective that I'm seeing here is something like intensified throughout like June and July. So you might have had like rough summer so far, and going into August, it's like a period of like, it's almost like being high, if you know what that feels like high off, and not even like high off of like the substance, like high off of like a high emotion, and it's like not necessarily like your typical like monotone feeling. I feel like there's something more substantial, and like just something that is very like lively about this period. It's like a moment of inspiration. It's like this fuel that you feel that you haven't felt in a long time. So it's that type of feeling that I'm talking about. Okay. And hopefully you're not actually doing DRUGGS. Yes. Now, this is a period, I think, you know what it is also? This is also, in a way, I want you to look at it as a reward period. Reward as in, you might not feel like that, because if anything, you feel like you went through like a war, or you went through some BS. So it's like you didn't even do anything positive per se, but there was a surrendering factor to that. I think you surrendering to what was happening, and you like letting it happen, like that in a way was also an action. Okay, because so I don't see much resistance. I think for a while there might have been resistance of you denying something, that you weren't acknowledging something, and this was an active choice. But I think the reason why this tower moment happened and it kind of swirled everything up is because you surrendered. Whether that was a conscious choice, you maybe like had a moment of like f this all, like maybe that's why it just happened like that. So there's this component of surrender. Maybe you got tired, maybe you were like, oh, fuck it all, like what is the worst thing that could happen after this? So I think, in a way, it's not only a surrendering to like to let go of the control you have to control the circumstances, but also surrendering to your own emotions, which essentially is you answering to your emotional needs and like actually doing right by your spirit. And it's okay if you don't have the clarity right now. Like I'm just letting you know objectively, and this might make more sense to you when you listen to this at the end of the month of August. So if you're watching this like early August or even July, I'm just giving you a heads up that it might not hit it like the same way it could later on in the month. Okay. And so August is your time to really dictate your next direction, or at least like dive into what inspires your heart and like reclaiming peace. And peace doesn't mean that you're not doing anything with your life, or like you're like not doing anything, or you're detached. Peace just means that you are accepting of everything that is as it is, and as well as your lack of conclusions that you might be fixated on. Okay, so peace means acceptance. Okay, so peace doesn't mean nothing is happening, nothing bad is happening. Again, connecting that with the aspect of surrender. Peace is you like, it's like you know how, the one of the things about a tower moment that makes beautiful is that after you fight this battle, or you go through like something so turbulent, that you kind of like have this period of like, okay, like whatever, like at this point I gotta do what I gotta do. What is the next step? Like it's that moment of surrender, acceptance, like that feeling is what we're talking about here. So as long as you don't lose that self-discipline that you have to figure things out, you will figure things out, like you will take charge of the next steps. And I talked about this already, like the tangible things are already going to show up for you to kind of, start getting you on the right path. So there's this aspect of emotional fulfillment, like you being independent, and like you learning how to rely on yourself again, like you're learning what it means to be there for yourself. So like emotionally you are gathering yourself, like you are guarding your emotions in a way that's safe for you. So again, like reestablishing that relationship with yourself, which is a critical factor of you moving forward, right? And I think that in a way you are like, this is not the time to like pop off, for example. Okay, it is still a time to like really focus on like the introspection period and like healing, if anything. And like if you need to heal from whatever happened in the summer, or like whatever you experienced recently, like this is the time to like introspect, okay, and just like staying to yourself while again, I am really highlighting the physical aspect here, that there is something that you're doing, like whether it's a goal you're pursuing, or maybe it's a new job. Like I'm like something tangible. Like this is not just a spiritual experience we're talking about. I'm talking about like something tangible that you're doing. But while you're doing that, and while you're being rewarded by you answering to your emotions, you also this is a time to stay focused. Okay, so whatever that you do, even if it's you going out there like having fun, it has to like make sense to you, your values. Like what are you doing? Is whatever you're doing, does that align with what you're trying to do with your life? Like does it actually make sense to you? It's a great time to also manifest. And if you're into manifestation, whatever that means for you, it's really about like you trying to make things happen for yourself, like delving into different things. So like exploring your potentials, and not really necessarily focusing on outcomes. And usually that is the best way to manifest, is not necessarily focusing on like the outcomes, but you just like planting the seeds, and like you trusting in yourself, and doing what you got to do. And when you apply all these energetical factors that I shared with you, like this is a really powerful space to be in, as far as actually planting your seeds and getting your groundwork going. And you might not even have a specific direction, but the direction is here. But you don't even have to know what direction this is. But I feel like whatever this thing is that you're going to be doing, or whatever that it's presented to you, this is the direction. But you don't have to have conclusions about it. Okay, that is a message I want you to also pay attention to. And there's a lot of childlike energy here that I'm seeing here. So maybe like whatever you're doing here is also like answering, or like it's really fueling your inner child. Maybe like you get the light back, like that life force back. Maybe you were really depressed for like the past few months or past few weeks, but you getting that feeling, the childlike energy back. So like I feel like what you do throughout this month of August, it's inspiring you in a very like youthful way. It's rejuvenating you, which is great. I also feel like there is a sense of like something coming to an end. Like, so if there was a conflict that you were dealing with, like I see things either being put on a pause or coming to an end. So there is a sense of like the hardship like coming to an end. Okay. Whether it's because but I think that it's important that you make it your choice, okay? Because anything that we experience, I actually was talking to one of my clients earlier, when I was on the call with her, without discussing the details of it, is that, well, if since you're already at the standstill, it is up to you to choose how you're going to utilize this period of time. And since nothing is going on, and since they're not really necessarily doing anything to help you gain that clarity, why not use this space that you have to actually feed yourself that self-love? Like, why not use this time, like fill this space up, like fill this gap with your willpower to help yourself in a different way, like to rebuild your self-identity and like build that relationship with yourself. So again, like I always say this, but life isn't just about what is happening outside of you. It's also what you make of it, right? Like how you respond and what you make of what is going on. So that is one thing that I want you to pay attention to. So something coming to an end, and using, again, the ending aspect is also your mentality, right? Like your response to something. So maybe it's an ending to this is a collective reading. You have to understand that, right? That we're not in one-on-one. If you want to talk to me in one-on-one, or you want to order a reading, go ahead and check out the link in my description, and you're welcome to check out my services. But this is a collective reading, so it might apply to you in the way that it works for you, like individually in your personal context. Is that maybe something had ended a long time ago and you were not able to give yourself the closure, right? In the beginning of this video, I talked about how this month is a time to you accepting closure and giving yourself that clarity, and holding on to like the next step that is going to be presented to you physically, right? So this is like, it's giving personal rebuilding, personal rebranding, or whatever it is, like personal reclaiming your power, reclamation. Is that the word? I hope it's a word, but you know what I'm trying to say. So even like something coming to an end is not necessarily like it might not be an objective ending, but you're giving it an ending because you now are ready to just move on. Like you're trying to do something different. That's what I'm trying to say here. Okay. So something is in the works. Okay. That's something you have to realize, is that there's a lot of, things are being alchemized, and I think that patience is a virtue. But when I say that, be very careful. I'm not talking about like you waiting around, okay? Pay attention to, like, when I say patience, I'm talking about not necessarily fixating on the outcomes or what's going to happen here, or like having to know what's next, like what's going to happen in my life now, but like taking one thing at a time and celebrating the small steps and small success here and there. Like I think that this month is really about celebrating yourself and celebrating your emotional independence and that emotional reclamation. Okay, the rebuilding that personal identity, and again, something being answered. But I also feel like the way this gets answered, I think that you were praying for this for a long time. Like this was something that you had hoped for a long time, but the way that it happened is like not how you expected. So I think that's why you're not connecting the dots. But you know, the thing about life is that you never connect the dots looking forward. When you're too close to the situation, you're too close to understand what's actually happening. And then like later on, you look back and you're like, oh my God, like that's how everything like came full circle. That's how life is, right? So I want you to know, like right now is a time to be selfish, and being so fearlessly selfish. Again, it's not just about like not focusing on the material gains either. It's gonna come to you if it's gonna come to you. That's why I said it's not about like focusing specifically on the outcomes of the goals, but rather the process of you focusing on yourself, and processing of you alchemizing your power, and like the process of you like relearning yourself and celebrating yourself, and the process of you still staying to yourself and staying true to yourself and focusing on the introspection. And I do also hear that justice will be served. So for right now, again, I'm also hearing that this is not the time to, I think I already mentioned this, but like share yourself too much, okay? As far as like, like I said, that it's not the time to wild out. So that means that although energetically this month might feel easier energetically, so you might feel like, oh wow, this is a time to like splurge and like go out there and like, you know, hang out with like whatever people and like socialize, um you gotta still stay to yourself relatively, okay? It's about, not only is that also about like spiritual hygiene, so like keeping your energy very like truthful and authentic to you, and like, you know, letting you immerse back into your true authentic blueprint of yourself, but also it is very important for you to stay focused on like your journey right now. So if, you know, if socializing or networking, if that's a part of like what you're doing, okay, unless it's that, don't waste your time hanging with like just people just to be around people. Again, it's really about self-love month this month, okay? It is the Leo month that I realize is August. That is Leo season, and you know what Leos are all about? Self-love, right? I would know, I'm a Leo rising, Leo Venus, so I know all about that. But we also have Venus retrograde. Again, I'm not turning this an astrology podcast. This is not astrology, you know. This is not an astrology reading. I'm just giving a collective reading based on what I'm receiving here, channel message, but also, you know, pulling some information here. But again, I'm hearing that don't share yourself with people too much unless you trust people, unless these people are you know, aligned with what you're doing, what you're already doing. So don't be impulsive. Like, be full on that self-love, but do not be impulsive. Do not be aggressive when it comes to putting yourself out there. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you're getting the full picture of how you're supposed to utilize this energy, you know? I think it's about playing safe and making this all about yourself, and not necessarily about like, how can I expand this? Okay, like expansion, this is not the time for expansion, rather the time to recollect yourself and regather yourself and staying to yourself and like being protective of yourself. I like that word, being protective of yourself, okay? Ooh. So 10 of Pentacles, yeah, there's some money here. So either like you get like a large sum of money, or you get an opportunity for money. But again, don't focus on the outcome, like I said. So just because I'm telling you 10 of Pentacles, oh, you're gonna get like something's, you know, something completing, like you get money out of it. That's not the energy of this. It's more like what you're doing, what you're creating here, it is tied to that big success, like that big abundance energy. So like that's the energy, which is why you have to utilize this energy and maximize the potential of what you could obtain by staying to yourself and keeping this sacred. Okay, so throughout the month, if there are any other updates, I will give you guys that update, of course. But for right now, that is the energy that I want to relay to you guys. And as promised, I will go through the zodiac signs. So we're gonna go start from Aries, and then Pisces at the end. So I do want to mention we are going by the rising sign. So not your sun sign, not your moon sign, unless you want to, like for fun. But I am hearing that this should be you should take this by your rising sign. So unless the people who should also look at their sun sign is if your rising sign is Leo, okay, because Leo is the sun, so then you gotta look at the sun also. So unless you're a Leo rising, focus on the rising sign, okay? So it's a little brief message about what energy, like a little message, okay? It's a little message about what you should focus on. Nothing too crazy. Again, if you guys want to hear like something, you guys want to have a conversation with me, you want to receive guidance, you want to have a divination, you want to ask about your life choices and directions, book a one-on-one with me. You can also join my Patreon, or you can also order a video reading. It's not always like a live call you have to commit to, okay? Like just check out my services. But okay, so Aries, what is the message for Aries? What is the message for Aries? Ooh, time to be selfish. The time to be selfish. And I kind of feel like you might be in your la la land a little bit, okay? But don't make sure you don't get super too selfish. Like there's got to be a balance, right? Like, so when that selfishness crosses the limit, it becomes conniving, and like you become like harmful to other people. So just, I think that as much as you should be in your energy and like love yourself and like all about keeping yourself good, at the same time I feel like make sure you don't cross a limit. I'm also seeing something about like, I don't know, like you might have some drama with your friends, so there's something like falling apart. Maybe it is a result of your selfishness, but hey, maybe it's what needs to happen, okay? I'm gonna keep it very brief, but yes, it's kind of contradicting in a way, because it's like, well, yeah, stay selfish, but then it's like not too selfish, because it might break apart a friendship, or it might, you know, create miscommunication and something might fall apart. But whatever, you know. Taurus risings. What is a message for Taurus rising? Message Taurus rising. Staying in your power. Oh crap, my cards came out. Staying in your power. It's sort of like, this is also giving the energy of like staying in your power. Like if you want to manifest something, you don't gotta do too much. You know how some people just have like a magnetism to them, where you attract things with your energy. I feel like that's sort of what you have to that's what you gotta do, like kind of staying in your power, and don't overexert yourself, don't overreach. I think that in a way also things might feel a little slow moving to you. You might feel stagnant, so there's a feeling of you staying where you're at with the feeling of feeling stuck. But you know, feelings are not facts, and sometimes we go through periods where you might feel that way, but your express energy is like you just staying in your power. So you know, whatever you might feel on the inside, still stay true to yourself. Like just stay there, okay? Don't make big moves. And if big moves present themselves to you, that's how you know it might be the right thing. But either way, I see you kind of feeling like you don't really know what the right thing to do is either way. So like I would just say, ride through the emotions. You want to talk to me, call me in a one-on-one. Maybe we can talk about your personal ordeals. So that's the message for Taurus rising. What's next? Gemini risings. Wait, is it that right? That is right? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Okay. Gemini. Ooh, Gemini risings. There might be some sort of like I'm hearing the ball is in your court. I'm seeing some sort of an emotional offer here, whatever that might mean. I see some, and I'm not trying to turn this into a relationship reading, right? Maybe I'll do a separate video where we like do relationship readings, like for the zodiac signs for fun. But I'm seeing something about like you're receiving something. I mean, it can play out in different ways. Like someone coming with an emotional offer. It's either someone who's, you know, giving you the emotional offer, or like someone who is receptive to your emotions, and this person helping you in other ways. Like it doesn't have to be romantic, but there's someone here who cares about you and is saying that what you do with this is up to you. The ball is in your court. Okay, either way, like that's the message. The ball is in your court. Again, it's not always, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it can be. So there's two different scenarios. One is it's an emotional offer. So emotional offer usually means romantic. But other thing is that this person who's helping you, as maybe it's your guide, your counsel, they care about you and how you want to take this. The next step is like the ball is in your court. So that is the message, Gemini rising. Cancer rising. What is the message for Cancer rising? What is the message for Cancer rising? It's kind of giving like you might have just taken a jab somehow. So I think this is really the recovery phase I'm seeing. Like you're in the recovery phase. You're kind of taking it slow. You're not trying to be out there too much. But I want you to know there's an emotional new beginning here. So I think you also know this. It's like you are willing to put up this battle. You're willing to get up. So it's like you're willing to do the work to recover yourself, which is good. So like as on guard as you are, you're also aware of like that the more you try to get back up there, you're going to have a new beginning. So like I like that. Well, Cancer risings, naturally you guys are very in tune with the emotions, like, you know, especially with the moon cycle and stuff. Like you're very in tune with it. You can feel it. You can feel like it's like an inner knowingness that the new beginning is coming. So I think that that's what's also fueling the inspiration, that like, okay, like I'm going to keep fighting, I'm going to keep doing whatever I gotta do, and you have like a prize in sight. Okay, so keep going. I think that's like sort of like a confirmation that yep, like that new beginning, the emotional new beginning that you're aiming for, that is a real thing. Okay, what's next? Leo rising. Oh, you got the Lovers card. So I don't know, I'm hearing like a lot of self-love, but also you know, if you're seeing somebody, like something about like an emotion, like you might, this is giving, because I'm trying to see, right? I also got it threw me off a little bit because I'm a Leo rising, so I'm trying to not make this about myself. But also the Lovers card, this is also a Gemini card. I'm a Gemini sun, so it kind of threw me off a little bit. That's why I'm taking a pause. So I'm not trying to I gotta tap out of my personal self so I can connect with an actual channel message. But it's overall it's giving self-love and something coming to fruition. And I don't necessarily think that, so unless you're in a relationship, so if you're already dealing with someone, and I don't think it's a situation type of stuff, I think that you're already dealing with someone, maybe it's an actual stable relationship, there's a next level progression, or you guys actually reach a different level, a renewed level of harmony and just really coming together. So there's that. But if you're in a situationship, it's not about that. But even if you're in a situationship or you're single, you're not dealing with anybody like that, so on a serious level, it's a renewed level of self-love, reestablishing the balance in your life and harmony in your life. So in a way, this is a very precious energy that you have to harbor and protect. Okay, referring back to the overall collective energy I mentioned. So I feel like this is your month, actually, Leo risings. So enjoy. Okay, what's next? Virgo rising, right? I'll be damned if I miss a sign. Virgo rising. Virgo rising. Okay, Virgo rising. It shows that there's too many options that you can't really make a decision right now, and it is not the time to make a decision right now. I think that in a way, it's a time for you to maybe remind yourself that there are options. So perhaps that if you feel like you don't really have a choice, you do. I think the predicament might be really about, you have to remind yourself you have options. You don't have to stay committed to this thing unless you already made a commitment. So I think that you don't want to be too hasty about making a commitment. So maybe this month, play with your different options and see what's around you and what's available to you and what's all accessible for you, instead of going at being super decisive. This is the month to not be super decisive. And even if something is not working fast enough, moving fast enough, it's just time for you to learn about what options that you have, rather than having to make a decision hastily. Okay, so that's your message for you, Virgo risings. What's next? Is it Scorpio or Libra? Well, we got 10 of Pentacles. Who's that? Who's next? Who's after Virgos? I think it's Scorpio. No, it is Libra. It's a Libra. Okay, Virgo, Libra. Yes, Libras. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of money. You got the Lovers card too. So it's pretty self-explanatory. So I feel like whatever you're doing, I'm seeing some sort of a conclusion, completion. So you're already at this phase of receiving the harvest, you're harvesting the fruit, or the result of the hard work. So something working out in your favor, and this is gonna be overall a really good month. Yeah. I also heard take a trip using this money or something. So you must really receive something either no, but I'm really seeing physical money, and I'm not saying that just because there's 10 of Pentacles here, but I'm seeing in the visual that there's literally something that is receiving here. So very blossoming month for you as far as financial. So enjoy it. Maybe treat yourself. Maybe take yourself and Bae out on a date or something. I think Libra risings are going to be popping this month financially. So congratulations, Libra risings. All right, so Scorpio risings. What is the message for Scorpio risings? Oh my God, my cards are flipped. All right, so I feel like Scorpio risings, you're going to stay relatively to yourself. This is the very interesting. I think that you're still okay. So this is giving the energy of you're still decisive about whether to because this is the energy that I'm seeing. Something energetically ended for you, but you're not you're still carrying the burden of that. So I think that you're still staying in your space. Okay, you're going through some sort of a death cycle, so something ending, but it's you're still carrying the burden of that. And I think that you have to make a decision if you want to truly get rid of that. Okay, so I think that because this is your choice, by the way. I think that you carrying on this burden is your choice. And I know that sounds pretty ridiculous, because who would want to carry on the burden. But you're also a Scorpio, so I understand that. I'm a Scorpio moon, so trust me, I get it. Sometimes we collect garbage and we have to like actually consciously choose to let it go. You know, I get it. So right now, you know, stay to yourself, and you already know this, but don't let anybody choose for you. Like, it's a decision that you have to make, and that is why Scorpio placements are so powerful, because once you make the decision to actually let it go and like actually kill that, or you know, kill your old version, then that's where your Phoenix rising begins again. Okay, so where was this? What's next? Sagittarius. Message for Sagittarius. I haven't missed a sign yet, right? Sagittarius. All right, so new opportunity. Okay, so I'm seeing a new opportunity here. Okay, I'm also hearing, oh, was this flipped or not? It's a new opportunity. You have to kind of navigate using your intuition. So it might be an opportunity, but it's not something that's going to start like super rapidly. So it might be, it's a new beginning of some sort, but it's not like coming in like super fast. And I think that's why some level of patience is required, but it is a real opportunity. You're not making that shit up. So something is offered to you in front of you, but it's just like, I feel like it comes in increments. Like it's not like a big thing, but it's a door, and then you grab it, you open the door, and it's like it's a process, it's steps, which Sagittarius usually have a very hard time with patience sometimes. So like maybe it's, yeah. I also feel like there's some form of like, I'm also hearing something about like you having to grieve, like you're still going through some sort of grief, like you're like, there's a inner battle that you're fighting with yourself. So maybe you've been like going back, like it's about taming yourself, and like you're checking yourself with your own ego problems. So there's some like self-work that you've been doing, going back and forth about. So there is some internal battle that I'm seeing here that's causing your energy levels to like kind of go haywire. Either way, the way that you know, get back in touch with your actual truth within and your essence is knowing that, you know, one thing at a time, and like don't rush. Like things don't have to be rushed for it to be real. So just remember that. Capricorn rising. Capricorn rising. What is the message? Ooh. Okay. Hold on a second. There's like a renewal of some sort. There's a renew. Okay, I want you to go after where, like, this is a very distinctive energy. Like, I feel like there's this like really interesting sense of excitement that you're feeling, and it's coming from like the sacral area. So I don't know if you're like sexually like I mean, there's a something you're motivated by in a unusual way. I'm not even just going by the cards only. I'm actually like receiving this information, like something you're motivated by, and it's like it's really motivating you, so you're going after this because it's unusual, it's exciting to you, like you know. And Capricorn placements, it's interesting because you guys don't, well, I don't know, I'm not gonna make assumptions, and I'm not gonna turn this into an astrology reading, but there is something unusual here that has your attention. Oops, why am I oh, there we go, focus. Go after it, but I also feel like I'm hearing like don't trust that too much. And maybe that's also where your Saturn energy comes in, and like you learn your lesson, like it bites you in the ass. So enjoy your experience and your observation with it, but I wouldn't like depend on it or rely on it, because I feel like it's not an energy you can trust. So and if you're choosing to be blind to it, then I guess you're gonna learn what you have to learn. You know, I guess that's a lesson you're gonna learn. But yeah, the energy that you think, so there's a discrepancy between how you're seeing the situation versus how it's presenting itself. Okay, I think that makes sense more, right? So that's, just keep that in mind. Okay, don't take everything for its face value right now. What's next? Aquarius rising. Waiting for some, hold on a second, what is this about? What is the message for Aquarius rising? Ooh, okay, so I feel like you're waiting for a new beginning, or rather it's not even just beginning. I think you're waiting for, how do I explain this? Like, how do I verbalize this? It's like this energy of like you looking over something and like you wanting to like you're like pondering on like if I should do this or not, like you're like going back and forth in your own head, but there are some sort of delays you might experience. So it's a delay either that you are delaying it because you're not taking action, you're just like daydreaming over it and like wishing over it rather than like taking action. Maybe you're being overly calculated right now. So I think that in a way there's a sense of like you not having what you want to have right now. So there's a sense of like you fantasizing over something, but it's like there's not much like clarity. Like mentally I think you're a little, I don't want to say confused, but it's like you feeling like you don't have this thing that you want right in front of you, and it's making you feel like there's a delay in your life. Like you feel like even if you have something, it doesn't feel quite solid. Like that's the feeling that I'm feeling right now. So you know, maybe there's some past issues that you have to resolve here. Maybe that feeling is, maybe you're dealing with some past energy, either an ex or but either way, it's going to feel like you're going to feel stuck. Like you're going to feel like there's a blockage here. So there's a sense of you not having what you want to have. Okay. That's, well, I don't think that's a message per se. It's more like you know, what you can prepare for energetically. What's next? Pisces. Holy crap. This is tiring. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how like tarot readers on here actually like do it like an hour video for each sign. That's a lot of work. Holy crap. Pisces rising. What is the message for Pisces rising? Pisces rising. Okay, so the message for you is that quite literally the Tower moment. So there's some conflict. What I'm hearing is that something might reoccur. Like if I feel like some shit's gonna happen and like it's a, you're gonna have to go through some conflict, some type of battle here. But it is very important that you fight this battle and don't run from this. Don't try to diffuse the situation. It is very important that you go for it. Like make sure that you go full in. Like I want you to put up a fight for what this is, because I feel like it's something that's important to you. So the only way to fight the Tower moment is not resisting it. It's about like embracing it and facing whatever you have to face, because this conflict that I'm seeing here is a very real thing, and you have to fight the battle. You have to like go at it. You know, I think that you have all the right information. So for you, you have to just gather up your energy and fight the battle. And it does deal with, it does deal with some toxic connection, but it's not a pleasant feeling. So it's a battle. And I'm also hearing that do not let that connection manipulate you into diffusing the situation, because unless you fight, okay, aggressively fight for like whatever you're fighting for, the Tower moment, like you're gonna experience like subsequent Tower moments after this. So deal with what you have to deal with right here with the aggressive energy. I know it's not in your nature to be aggressive, Pisces, but you have to go at it. Okay, like you gotta come out of your character a little bit this month, and even if it doesn't feel good in your body right now, it's about like fighting for that thing. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna end this video here, and again, go to the description in my description box, and you can find my other social media there. And if you want to talk with me in one-on-one and get the real insights, and I don't use tools in my one-on-one. I'm an oracle, real oracle. I'm a shaman, so I connect directly with spirit. So no card readings in one-on-one, unless you order a video reading, then it might be different. But yeah, have a great rest of your month of July, and happy August.